But before that, let's dive in because we're going to do a little bit of the old with old man Terry Barden. And then we're going to do a little bit of the young because it's all about the young drivers and showcasing them. And we welcome in from right down the road from me, right down 183, Liberty Hill, Texas. Welcome to the Revved Up Sports Show, our friend Riley Allen. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm doing good. How are you?
They're doing well. So are you guys ready for Christmas? Is everything set? Is all of that done? Because that's the panic right now, I think.
Yeah, definitely. We have I don't even know, 5 days until the Tulsa shootout.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. See, that's a racer right there, Bobby. Who cares about Christmas? Tulsa shootout's coming up.
I mean, the priorities are in order. I mean, that's a good thing, right? You're worried about what Santa's going to bring you under the tree. It's like, I need some tire money. I need some travel money. I need some hotel money. You're like, if Santa shows up with a big old bag of money, that'll make it really good for you for Christmas, right, Riley?
Definitely.
Absolutely. So, Riley, let's talk about you first. We saw you this year on pavement there in the Legacies at HMP and doing what you were doing there. But kind of walk us through this. It's been a quarter midget career that has been stellar. Is an understatement. Kind of talk about all of this for you, and you're still very young at this point, just getting rolling here. But man, sky's the limit. It seems like for you.
So, I started racing quarter midgets in 2014 at 4.5. My dad just kind of threw me in one on a random day, and I knew I wanted to do it after that. So, I did that for a while, and then up until last year, I kind of outaged in quarter midgets. So I did it for 10 years. And I had a total of 10 state championships. And I also had 2 Western State National Championships, 3 regional championships, and my best top finish at a NASCAR Youth Series event was 4th.
Damn. Wow.
But it was a great experience. I made so many friends and I went to so many states. I can't even describe how amazing it was, but it really set me up for where I am today. And it gave me a lot more confidence to get into a legacy versus just getting into it without any experience at all.
Mm-hmm.
So, Riley, we know people that race legacies for years because they've been around for, it's a good platform for racing. In terms of the power to weight ratio, how have you been able to adjust from that? Because it definitely doesn't compare to the quarter midget, but the power to weight ratio being a 3/4 scale cup car. I mean, how's your transition been into that? I mean, is it kind of you still trying to get your feet wet, get comfortable with it, or you kind of taking a natural knack to it? Or tell us about that transition from the quarter midget to the legacy.
Honestly, it wasn't too big of a jump for me. I feel like I just kind of got in it and it wasn't really anything new, which is good. And now I'm like really used to it. So I feel like when I need to get into something bigger, then I'm already kind of prepared for it.
Yeah. So, Riley, I want to hone into the quarter midget part because I think that's something to where a lot of folks, a lot of younger folks, they dive into racing and they want to get in a big car and they want to do all these different things. And they get in there. And to me, that's always been these days a system for failure. Kind of talk about that part about moving up through the ranks right there and winning those races and going to different states and doing that part, because every state and every tendency is a lot different with different drivers and the way that they do things.
So quarter midgets for me is really how I was able to grow. And in the beginning it was hard. Like when I was 5, traveling was really difficult, especially like when I would race against kids I never raced before because they lived in a different state. So I didn't do too good at like the earlier nationals because these kids were like crazy good. But I started racing nationals more often, which gave me more experience. So like last year, I met this family at a race and they asked me to fly out to California to run one of their cars. So I did, and I ended up setting a track record and beating everybody and winning the race for the weekend. And then from that day, they asked me to come race a special kind of quarter midget called an AA, which is not popular in they don't really run anymore. But NASCAR Youth Series was kind of watching me at the Winter Nationals to see if I could prove that they could run with this generation's quarter midget. And it was really difficult because I've never been in a quarter midget that had that much power before. So it was a lot different, but I kind of felt like the spotlight was a little bit on me in that moment because I was one of the only people there running that car.
Nice.
So, right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? The fact that you're a young lady racing. Now, it seems like Roddy and I are old guys, right? So we remember back in the day, 20 years ago, you might have had one lady racing per track, right? Now you basically got at least one, if not two ladies racing per class on any given short track Saturday night up into ARCA, Xfinity, and stuff like that. Has there been any pushback from you? Have you felt any like that, being a young female racer like that, or the guys? It's just like you're just another one of the dudes just hanging out, racing and hanging out.
So I feel like I see everyone pretty equally. Honestly, I have a pretty good friend group, so we will joke and tend to be like, "Oh, I'm better than you because I'm a dude." But honestly, it's all pretty equal, and I don't really see anyone differently just because I'm a girl and they're a boy, or vice versa.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So Riley, the other part for you, kind of making the move over, when it comes to the legacy class and what you've been doing out there. And by the way, you've got one of the best looking cars. I love that paint scheme. That paint scheme to me is like, I'm an old NASCAR guy, so that one really excites me. So for you with that class, because what I love about that class is that you have the younger, drivers like yourself and several others, and then you have guys like Mike Knotts and all of these different, very experienced folks. I mean, Delilah May, has been in these cars for a long time. Kind of talk about those people because it's a really cool mix of just badass drivers all together, young and maybe a little bit more veteran.
I think it's really cool that we get to race with all these different kind of ages, but also Mike Knotts is the reason why I got into Legacy, so I'd like to give a big thanks to him. And I just feel like everyone at the track is really helpful, and they're willing to help even if you're their competitor. Mm-hmm. But I just think that we all show the same amount of respect for each other, even though we're all different ages.
Absolutely.
Mike's a character. We've known Mike a long time. If you ever wanted to see the history of Texas racing, try to get him to take you down to the shop down outside.
You've probably been there.
Have you been to a shop down there outside of San Antonio, Riley? It's a cool. Roddy and I are jealous now because we've been wanting to go down there and look at those old cars. It's like Dale Jr.'s graveyard. He's got race cars that we remember from 30, 40 years ago that's just sitting down there waiting to be raced again. So that we're jealous now. Great. That's a Christmas wish of ours. That's not going to happen because she's already burst the bubble and got to go down there. So what's on tap after that? Are you thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead after a legacy car, or are you just wanting to concentrate on one class at a time? Do you have like a big picture where you're going to be 3-4 years after you kind of get out of school and all of that?
Well, I'm kind of just going with the flow right now, but I do, like I said, I'm getting ready for the Tulsa shootout. So I also race micros, which I'd like to thank Ashcraft Motorsports for the ride because last summer I got offered the ride to be on his team, and his team is an all-girls team. So I think it's really cool that he promotes all females, and I'm just so glad to be a part of that. But I just want to keep racing my legacy and see where it goes along with the micro and see what I can do. But for 2025, we were kind of having some days planned to where I could go test run a high-profile truck for maybe to race in 2026.
Wow. Nice. By the way, your race team has been blowing up social media, by the way. We're getting notifications nonstop on both our phones. If you hear the buzzing, it's because the phones are going off because they're doing all kind of notifications about you joining us this evening. So luckily for us, we now have an extra reason for people to watch more than normal. So that's a good thing. Let's talk about Tulsa Shootout. Underrated event, I think, in terms of how really cool it really is. I think it does get overshadowed a bit by the Chili Bowl, which I guess it should to a certain extent. But I mean, there's no lack of action there at the shootout. I mean, you
No.
guys and gals that are racing in there, y'all go through the alphabet soup, just like the Chili Bowl. Y'all race nose to nose and side to side, wheel to wheel, flipping, flying, all that good stuff. Talk about that Tulsa shootout. I know you're getting ready for it.
So this is actually my very first Tulsa shootout that I will be racing. So I've been to 2 of them, but I was only there to watch or to go support friends. But it's over 1,600 cars, so it'll definitely be different. And this is also only my 4th micro race, but I'm willing to just give it everything I got and see what I can do.
Yeah, and the thing is, extended laps. They keep growing this thing out. I mean, it really seems like. So, how do you prepare yourself mentally? I mean, because you got the holidays and everything that's coming on, but like you did right here, you come onto the show and you're talking about the shootout. I'm talking about Christmas. You're like, I don't care about that. How do you prepare yourself mentally to dive into this? This is a huge stage, Riley, that you're about to dive into.
Well, I try to get as much sim time as I can just to try to get the track in my mind as much as I can. But I also just kind of tell myself to relax because I feel like it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm not super nervous about it. And I think it'll just be a really good experience for the next year's Tulsa shootout.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that I just have to keep in mind that for now it's just an experience and it won't be the end of the world if I don't do that great because it is my first Tulsa shootout.
Absolutely.
We need her on the show more often.
Yeah.
It's not that great if you don't. Yeah, it's not that bad if you don't do that great. That's what we needed. That's what we needed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We need that optimism here.
Yeah.
So what's your daily life like? I mean, are you just like a normal teenage girl, or you're worried about prom and football and homecoming and all that? Or are you just all about the race cars?
I do high school football. So what's Liberty Hill? I don't know what
the Liberty Hill Panthers.
Yeah, the Panthers. But I don't know if you guys have everybody has the little.
Oh, thing. It's like this.
Oh, it's like that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, nice. Okay.
Well, I went to homecoming, but it was kind of lame. So I'm kind of glad that the last 2 years I went racing instead of went to homecoming. But there wasn't a race this year on homecoming, so I decided to go. But honestly, I didn't miss much. But a day in my life, really, I just run my sim, or I try to get as much exercise as I can so I can stay pretty in shape during off season.
Yeah.
But other than that, I am just a regular teenage girl.
Well, no, not quite. Not quite. I raised 2 teenage girls, and this was the last thing that they would have done. So no. So with that, I mean, with that part right there, with the dirt stuff and the quarter midget, and now the legacy. Is there one of these? And we always ask drivers that do different disciplines. Is there one of them that tailors better to your style? I personally think after the fact, starting on dirt, then going to the asphalt, I think that's better. Is there one of them? Do you get in the legacy and you're like, are you bored in that car? I mean, how does that all work out for you?
I'll definitely say that ever since starting dirt, the legacy has been way easier.
Yeah.
Because in dirt, you're a lot more up on the wheel. And, you're going through the corners. And then in the legacy, you're kind of just going on a Sunday drive. But it kind of gives me that advantage to where I don't get as nervous, I guess, because I know it's not going to take as much I guess my abilities to run the car, because it's just a lot easier than dirt, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she laid down the gauntlet there. Now, oh boy. Social media is going to be on fire now. Oh,
As an old asphalt guy, it's like, there's the knife right into my heart. But I get it. But I totally get that. I totally get what you're saying. That's right.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. What she said.
Also 10 years of pavement, yes.
That's right. So what all you got behind you over there? Is that all of the accolades and state championships and awards? And do you have your own little space over there where you've got the Riley Allen montage behind you at a very young age?
Yeah, these are trophies from 2015 on. I mean, these aren't even half of them. Most of them are in the attic. But this is kind of my side. My sister's side's over there. She used to run Legacy. back in 2017. And I don't remember much, honestly, because I was like 9. But yeah, these trophies, they mean a lot to me, especially the state championships or the regional championships or the national championships.
Absolutely.
That's right. She's having to like recount championships. Yeah.
know.
Roddy and I hate that problem. We're like, oh, well, let's see. Wait, no, that one got, oh, wait, there was a rookie of the year once.
I've got my little measly feature race trophies over here.
Yeah.
Mine never get lost, Riley. I never lose them. I know exactly where they are because they are few and far between.
Mine all broke. All my trophies broke. That's how good mine were.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, like I had like a second place championship trophy. Like I took it home, set it on the shelf, and within like 2 days it fell apart. I'm like, oh man.
Oh.
So I never got around to fixing it though, because I wanted to cheat. I was gonna make it taller, be as tall as the championship trophy, but I decided not to, because that wouldn't be fair. Speaking of fair, talk about the next challenge with the micro sprints. We've seen a lot of those over the years. Roddy and I've got to announce a couple of them, especially down at like Texana, where they come to run a little bit. It's almost like the track's just a tick too big, maybe, for the micros. But talk about that, the different experience levels that you have to have with the micro. I know you hadn't run it a whole lot, but are there certain tracks like on a schedule that's popping up? You're like, hey, I can't wait to get there because that one's going to be fun, going to be elbows up, ready to roll. You have any of those picked out on the calendar in 2025 yet?
Well, I definitely want to go to some of the Now 600 Nationals, but a track in particular that I really want to go in Kansas. I've been there a few times to watch my friends race, but it just looks like such a fun track, and I know next year I'll get to go race there. I'm going to go there and see what it's all about.
Yeah, no doubt. Last one for me, Riley. Was there a time with all the quarter midget stuff, with all the success and everything that you had right there? You talked about you outgrew that part. Was there ever a point where you're like, I'm about to outgrow this? Sorry, we're very real on this show. I'm about to outgrow this shit. It's time to move on. Were you counting the days for that to get to the point that you're at right now?
Honestly, no.
Good. I love that. That's super cool. That is super cool. Yeah, she kind of flipped on us there a little.
I know she's a little sideways. That's all right. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah,
it makes for an interesting view. So Riley, one of the things that we like is we like to showcase up and coming talent like yourself and the next generation of racers that are coming behind Rodney and I. What's your advice to whether it be the little girl, little boy, 5, 6 years old, trying to pop into a quarter midget for the first time? What would you tell them if you're leading into the window on their very first race and they're shaking, their hands are shaking because they're scared or they're spooked? I mean, what do you tell them? You tell them just relax. What do you tell them? What do you tell them kids that from your experience?
I would just say that once you get over that little line of fear, then you're going to realize how fun it is and you're going to want to do it as long as you can, like me, a whole 10 years. But as long as you just finally conquer that fear of finally getting out on the track, and when the green flag drops and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going so fast. And then when it's all over, you realize how fun it was, then that's how you know you're going to want to do it for a really long time. So the only thing you got to do is just get in the car and just do it.
Nice.
I like it. We need to clip that and play that. That's right.
Well said. We asked some of the older drivers that, and they're like, I don't know, just get out there and stand on it. No. That's not the best advice. That is not the best advice. Riley, it has been super cool talking to you. This has been a joy. You're right in Liberty Hill. You're right in our Fairburg right here. I think we need to do this more often, maybe a check-in after the Tulsa shootout. And thank you for diving in here with us, and enjoy that holiday, even though it's going to be really, really short.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate having the opportunity to come on here.
Hey, Riley, you mentioned your race team right there. Any other folks that you want to shout out? Because I know that's super important.
I definitely want to thank my parents, because without them, I definitely would not be here. Dexter Thompson, Chris Quilty, he's like a really big help for me at the Legacy track.
Mm-hmm.
Ashcraft Motorsports as my #1 sponsor, and all my team members, Memory Ashcraft, Emma Smith, and Peyton Geitzenauer. Keith Zimmerman and Cody Jessup for their help last year in the quarter midgets and really giving me a great last season in quarter midgets.
Yeah, Super cool. Super cool. All right, girl, go get them. We'll be following
you.
along and open phone here anytime. Jump on with us.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Take care. You bet. There she goes, Riley Allen. Boy, that girl, she's got the media part down. Absolutely has the media part down.
Yeah, right. I mean, next thing you know, we'll be seeing TikTok shorts of us on there. She's gonna